it's a shame what we see what's going on across not just this county of Kings here in Brooklyn, but across the city and state of New York. We're facing something that is, I believe, major consequences for the ratepayers here in the state of New York. Being here in Kings County, unfortunately, Brooklyn is the capital of the world when it comes to no-fault insurance, Medicaid fraud, and Medicare fraud. And just to point out and going and staying on the no-fault system, we are the third highest insurance premiums in the nation. If you take a look in 2005, it was $5,700. Today, the average is $9,600, an increase of 54% just in the past 5 years. Think about that. That is every tax ratepayer that's in this great community has increased their share of insurance, and they keep on paying, and some as high as $12 to $18 to $2,000 a policy increase, because we in the state of New York have not put forth the right legislation that would put these people where they belong, in jail. And I'm going to work, as I have in the past, with the District Attorney Charles Hines here, District Attorney in Queens, D.A. Vance, and of course working with my good friends in Staten Island, D.A. Donovan, and D.A. Brown in Queens, who have fought the good fight in trying to do something about this no-fault disaster that is on our hands. The additional cost to New York is to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. That's just the no-fault. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I have one company, State Farm, that puts out, for every dollar it pays, $1.30. It's losing money. That company alone, $195 million that company is losing. And why? Because there are no areas, there's all civil penalties. There are no criminal penalties that are serious enough to catch and get these people in jail and to stop this fraud. There's no technology overlay to take a look at where and who's committing these crimes. There are runners out there that are getting away with steering these individuals to these attorneys, and these attorneys are steering them into healthcare facilities that are all set up in a system to defraud the ratepayer and to defraud the state of New York. And they've been getting away with it for years. For example, an auto accident can be caused or staged. Those involved, some not knowingly, are recruited to go to illegal medical facilities, corrupt offices that generate excessive fraudulent medical bills. These no-fault medical bills are often illegal corporate structures being run by dishonest people who are in business solely just to bill insurance companies, not to provide legitimate medical care. The criminals taking an unfair advantage of New York's broken no-fault system are organized, calculating, and part of a big business. In essence, the people behind the crime are imposing a fraud tax on each and every one of us that live and own a car here in the state of New York. And the capitals are right here in Kings County, Queens, and Bronx County. That is where the majority of this crime is being committed. Why it's been able to go on for so long? Why hasn't the state of New York acted properly and done their due diligence and put legislation in place to stop these individuals from committing these crimes and increasing? Remember what I said, the average rate was around $5,400 pre-2005. Now it's $9,600. Think about that. Since 2005, think about those numbers. They are astounding, and they continue to go up each and every day. I've introduced a bill called S4507, currently under review by the Insurance Committee, and we have permitted, as a matter of fact, we're moving the bill as we speak through committee and into rules to get it out and on the floor and voted on, and for it to become law. We need the Assembly, a partner in the Assembly, to make sure that that happens with the Assembly, and this will retroactively cancel a policy in certain circumstances. In addition, I have supported and co-sponsored bills from my colleagues in the Senate to help fix New York's no-fault fraud program. They actually use my bill. You can go in there with a forged check, with a stolen check. You can do it with a credit card that is a fraudulent credit card, and you can activate a case, get paid, and be out of the system within 30 to 45 days, and made $50,000 on a deal. Who's better than that? If you did that 6 or 8 times, you're not doing too bad, are you? Why the rest of us go to work each and every day to earn a living. Why are they allowed to get away with this? Why should they be allowed to get away with this? D.A. Hine believes that staging an accident should be classified a C felony. Acting as a runner classified as an E felony, and reforms must ensure the medical providers convicted on no-fault fraud are subject to civil penalties and prohibit them from receiving future payments under the no-fault system. We need to enact comprehensive, meaningful, no-fault insurance reform that puts the citizen here in the state of New York first. The reform measures I have supported in the state include several: implementing tougher penalties on criminals who cheat the no-fault system, modifying the 30-day rule to allow insurers the opportunity for more thorough investigations of suspicious crimes, combating excessive and unnecessary medical charges, decertifying medical providers who commit insurance fraud. We were looking at a report not too long ago, and it was striking that they have a wheelchair that you can go. I believe it's called DMA. DMA it's called, and under that they can go out and get this wheelchair. This wheelchair, believe it or not, cost $45,000. You can buy a car for $45,000. A wheelchair for $45,000. Absolutely abhorrent. And who's paying for it? In the no-fault system, it's the insurance. It's the people, the ratepayers here in this great city. If it's in Medicaid or Medicare, it's the taxpayer. And it goes on a regular basis here in the state of New York. And it's wrong. Decertifying medical providers who commit insurance frauds. They set up these Article 28s under an individual or doctor's name. The doctor is retired in Florida. He doesn't know what's going on, nor does he care, because he's getting paid. And they're running these mills, and when that mill gets caught, they move around the corner and they get another doctor's name and they open up another mill. And that's what's costing this insurance to be the 3rd highest in the nation and continuing to move upward. So we're decertifying those medical providers, and we're going to encourage fast and fair settlements by requiring medical providers to submit disputed no-fault claims to an arbitrator, and provide for the insurance department to promulgate treatment guidelines so that we don't have this run-of-the-mill, this one person and this one mill charges one price, this one mill over here charges another price, and we as the state of New York pay and have the ratepayer pay those crazy inflated insurance schemes. According to the Insurance Information Institute, no-fault fraud and abuse cost New York consumers and insurance about $241 million. That's in 2010. I've talked to a number of insurance companies. One insurance company is $195 million in losses here in the state of New York. Another one is $240 million in losses here in the state of New York. Another one is $140 million in losses in the state of New York. That's mounting up close to $1 billion. Not what we see here, the $241 million that is being claimed as losses here in the state of New York. The losses here to these insurance companies is astronomical. And we also had one of the insurance companies, when we had our hearing, actually say, we cannot afford to stay in the state of New York. They left the state of New Jersey. They left. What happened to the ratepayer in the state of New Jersey? It went up. There's only one place for the insurance policy to go up when you have less insurance companies to choose from. So, if that insurance company is one of the 4 major insurance companies here in the state of New York, if he decides to leave and they decide to leave and pull out of here, that means our insurance costs will continue to go up. And we cannot afford that to happen. That will cost us much higher premiums. According to the New York State Insurance Department's 2010 annual report on health insurance fraud, Suspicious no-fault automobile insurance claims accounted for most of the 14,625 reports of suspected health care-related fraud sent to the New York State Insurance Department last year. 14,625. Majority of them fraud. Think about that. And what do we do as a state? Nothing. Wrong. We have to do something. We cannot afford for these rates to go up, and we cannot afford to lose an insurance company out of this great state. There were 12,807 reports of suspected fraud involving no fraud insurance, or 88% of the total number of healthcare-related reports received. Think about that. The numbers are astronomical and off the chart. From 2004 to the second quarter of 2010, the average person injury protection, PIP, claim cost rose 60% in New York, nearly 42% faster than the 18% growth in the consumer price index. That is how. We're in two worst years since the Great Depression, and here we are, we have prices the third highest in the nation, and all we have to do is implement a few simple pieces of legislation that would prevent this from happening. And that's all it would take. Every district attorney is on board. We're even looking at legislation that would allow those district attorneys to go after, and whatever money they could get after going after these fraudsters, let them keep the good percentage of it for their offices so that they can run and manage their offices and use this money to be able to have the employees and the ADAs necessary to prosecute these crimes. We need these DAs to go after these crimes. We need the teeth in the laws so that they can put these people in jail. Medical providers and the attorney-driven fraud contributes to New York City's driver paying about 67%, Staten Island to 272%. In the Bronx, and drivers in my district in Brooklyn are paying 185% more than the statewide average of no-fault insurance. Do I need to say any more? It's up to the state legislature to enact the legislation that's necessary, and we only need 3 or 4 pieces of good legislation. They're there. They're moving through the Senate. Time to move them through the Assembly. Time to get them passed. It's time to put the bad guys where they belong, in jail, and it's time to bring down the cost to the ratepayer in the city and state of New York. Thank you very much.